2022 is upon us, and if this is the year that you wanted to start your candle business but you're struggling to know where to start, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to outline in order all of the steps that you need to do to start your business with your best foot forward. Subscribe and hit the bell if you're a budding handmade business owner looking to start and grow your own business. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Small Biz Directive. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashani, creator and founder of Luna London. Happy 2020. I'm so excited to be making this video and to bring in some consistency onto this channel. It's been severely lacking, but without any waffling, I'm just gonna get straight into the video. So for the people who've already started their business, we know that candle making can be a bit of a minefield. I'm always getting messages from people not knowing where to start in terms of their candle making business. So I'm really hoping that this kind of lays out the whole path of all of the steps that you need to do to get you into a good position. These are the steps that I would have done if I were to start my business from scratch again. So the first thing I'd recommend is getting a candle making kit. So if your business is successful, you're going to be making a lot of candles, so you want to make sure that you actually enjoy doing it. By getting a kit, you can test out the whole process, and it's a very easy, laid out way of being able to get to grips with all of the different terms, as well as the different kit that you need to be able to get started and start producing your own candles, and also testing candles, of course. Not only are candle making kits very simplified, it just gives you everything that you need, it's also the most cost-effective way of going about it, instead of you just buying random things without really knowing what you're doing. Because let's face it, at the beginning of any kind of new thing, it's really hard to know what stuff you need. So I feel like a candle making kit is just you just buy it off the shelf and you're good to go. You don't have to think too much. You've got all of the details, you've got the directions within the kit. Okay, so we know that we need a kit, but I know the next question I would normally get is, which kit would you recommend? So I have two for you today that I wanted to share. I think from all of the UK suppliers, these are my two favorite kits and my two favorite suppliers, so I'd highly recommend these kits. So the first kit I have is from Cozy Owl, and it is a soy candle kit. So within the kit, you get your a beginner's guide to making, you get some jars, so you get just these clear Karen jars, I believe. You get your fragrance oil, so this is the mulled wine one, and you also get some dye with this, which is cool because it's really fun to experiment with candle making dyes. Of course, then you get your wicks as well, and your soy. So your soy as well. The things that you don't get with these kits are the actual double boiler jugs, which you can pretty cheaply get from Amazon. I'm going to link down below a couple of my recommendations for the actual jugs that you would use, but you can also just buy them directly from the suppliers. So you could just buy it from Cozy Owl or Candle Shack, I believe. So this is the Cozy Owl candle kit. So the second kit I have here is the Candle Shack kit, and I've actually done a review on this, so I will link that video just above, but let me show you what it looks like. So again, you get your little directions. It tells you exactly step by step what you should be doing. So this is a wooden wick candle making kit, so you get your wooden wicks and sustainers, you get your fragrance oil, you get your wax, you get tins and jars as well. So this is a really lovely kit. It comes really well packaged. I think it would even make a nice gift as well. And in this kit, they have the RCX wax, which is a rapeseed and coconut blend wax. So the first step was pretty easy. It's getting a candle making kit and just getting your hands dirty and testing it out. The second thing I'd recommend is to do your research. Now, I probably didn't do this myself as much as I should have, but I would definitely recommend doing as much research as possible before you get going into actually buying your supplies. So I would do research from 2 points of view. I would do the research from the technical candle making side, so understanding what your different waxes are, what are the pros and cons of each wax, safety requirements, how to test a candle, doing a burn test, all of that sort of information. I would do the research beforehand, so you kind of know exactly what you're doing before you go and buy supplies. You would also want to do some research on your suppliers, have a look at their reviews, see which supplier is best. The best places to do your research, I would say, is YouTube, of course, and Facebook groups. So you can join Facebook groups from the suppliers, so you can go and join the Candle Shack Facebook group. I believe Cozy Owl do one. There's so many different types of groups out there, and you can kind of do a search of those Facebook groups and see what people are liking, what they're not liking, which waxes they're enjoying, and it gives you very detailed information before you start investing lots of money into your raw materials. Because take it from me, the cost of your raw materials are going to rocket very quickly, and if you're not careful, you're going to end up with a lot of stuff that you probably don't need. I've said it before, I don't think you need 100 million different types of fragrance oils, even though I did it myself, but they're just so expensive. Put that money into something else, especially like specifically for me, I would say put your money into marketing instead of buying just like loads and loads of stuff, because it's going to be clutter and also you're not going to need it. The second part of your research, which should be done at the same time really as the technical research, is the business side. And I say this over and over again because I know that a lot of people, just like me, they just fall in love with doing something, like they fall in love with making candles, and that's basically the primary focus. But then when it comes to launching, nobody buys the candles, and that's because none of the business research has been done. So when you're researching the technical side of candle making, please research the business side as well. And what I mean by this is you want to know who your competitors are, what are they doing that is making them stand out, why are they doing so well. You want to break all of this down. For example, doing a SWOT analysis, which will basically show the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats to your business. By going in with your eyes open, you know what to expect. The other research I would say is, of course, marketing. I bang on about it a lot, and that's because that's really going to determine the success of your business. Having good marketing strategies within your business is really the make or break of your business, I would say, because you could have the best candle in the world, but no one's going to buy it if they have never heard of it. And I see this a lot. Is the candle making industry saturated? And I don't believe it is. It's saturated with the kind of bog standard candles, but it's not saturated if you try and go within a niche. If you're new to this channel, I speak a lot about niching. I probably annoy people because it's just a lot, but I have a video about niching. I'm going to pop that up as well, and that will go deeper into like what a niche is and why it's important. By doing this business research, what you're also able to do is reduce the amount of supplies that you need to buy. So for example, if you know that within the industry there's a trend for 5 different types of scents that are doing really well, you're more likely to gravitate towards those scents because you know that they're kind of going to be winners, rather than just buying like random obscure things that you're just testing out to see if it works or doesn't work. So along with your research, what you also want to do is just have like your budget in mind, and your budget should not only go to supplies, as I mentioned already. It should actually be a business budget. So it should cover like your overheads, your marketing, your raw materials. Your business research should also help you determine a budget. So please make sure that your budget encompasses everything. So your overhead, so electricity costs, cleaning supplies, all of that sort of stuff. You also want to pay yourself a little bit. I know it's very difficult, but you should get into the habit of being able to pay yourself, even if it's like £10 a month or something, but start kind of getting your business into a realistic point of view so that you are focused on making money from it rather than, just pouring everything back into it. The other thing your budget should also encompass is your marketing. I see a lot of people kind of spend like thousands of pounds into the candle like material stuff, but nothing on marketing. And I think that's a big mistake. I think you should have something like to be able to run a couple of ads maybe, or to, give yourself the time to like maybe outsource the social media side to create TikToks. Maybe you want to buy supplies for that, photography, all of that kind of stuff. I feel like, it's really important to cover all of these things just so you're not like a one-sided business of just only making candles, because like I said, marketing is important. People aren't going to know your candle business exists unless you get your product out there. The third step would be to then buy the supplies. After you've done your research, you should have a better picture of everything that you need, as well as from your business research, you should know like what kind of designs are doing well, and be able to then, you would have mood boarded it out, so you can then either go and create the designs yourself or outsource it to a designer. Something from the testing phase that surprised many people is testing can take a long time. It can take anywhere from 3 months to over a year. I've seen a lot of people, be within that band, and it can take a very long time. And I think candle making is seen as this like, oh, it's a really easy thing to do and you can get rich like super quickly from it, but actually it takes a long time to actually build a business, to build loyal customers. And the way you build loyal customers is by continuously testing your candles to make sure you have the best product out there. no one's going to want to buy a candle again if, you know, the hot throw is like poor, or the cold throw is poor, or the packaging is not on point. So it's really important to do all of the testing very thoroughly, just so you know that you've got a cracking product. The best way to test, in my opinion, is to do one kind of jar, one kind of fragrance oil, and a variety of wicks. And in this way, you can figure out which wick behaves really well with your wax and your fragrance oil combination. By limiting yourself to one style of jar and one style of fragrance oil, you're reducing the amount of variables that you're going to get, which makes testing a lot more simpler than trying to do like different types of jars and different types of fragrance oils, because it'll get confusing very quickly. So I would say do it one by one. Test one fragrance oil, one jar, and a variety of wicks, so you have like one scent sorted, rather than trying to do everything at the same time. Once you've figured out which wick works well with your wax and fragrance oil, you can then work on optimizing it, so increasing or reducing the fragrance oil percentage, so you can optimize your candle for the best hot throw without using as much fragrance oil, so your candle is more cost effective than just sort of going for the standard 10%. Than just going for the standard 10% of fragrance oil, which is generally recommended to beginners. Overall, I would say the most manageable amount of fragrances to test for a collection is between 4 and 6 fragrance oils. And this is so you can have a variety, you've got a spread between the different fragrance families. So you can cover, spicy, floral, woody. You can kind of, capture a broad range of people's interests and tastes. So in parallel to your testing, I would go ahead and also start with your design phase, because design can take also a long time, especially if you're doing it yourself. It'll take a bit of iteration to figure out, the software that you're using. Canva is a really good place to start with design. But you're going to want to start iterating with your design as well, just to, print it out, test it on the jars, all of that kind of stuff, and making sure that people actually like the design. I would say to start in this phase, where you can start getting feedback from friends and family of whether the designs are resonating, whether it's not. What I would say to do is to storyboard your ideas, so you can figure out what is the message you're trying to convey through your candles, because that is the biggest part of selling candles. At the end of the day, like I said, there's thousands of different brands of candles out there. So what is it about your brand that is unique, special, and that should be conveyed in your design? I just want to make it super clear that design is actually a huge part of what makes or breaks the sales of your business. Having good design paired with having really well-performing candles is what's going to help you grow and build up a fan base very quick for your brand. So while we're talking about, what will make people buy your candles, I'd love to know, what is it for you that makes you think I'm going to buy from this brand versus that brand? What do you need to see to be able to make that decision that you want to invest your money into buying a candle from any kind of business? Because I guess in thinking about that will help you also adopt those things and put it into your business. The fourth step would be to devise a marketing plan. As you go through your testing phase and you feel like you're kind of nearing the end, you're starting to nail all of your candle scents, and you feel like you could launch your business within the next 3 months, this is the time I would say to start developing your marketing plan. The biggest disservice I see brands do to themselves is not effectively showcase their products and kind of just pop up one day and say, hey, I've launched my business, please buy from me. And to be honest, there's so much psychology that goes behind the buying aspect from people that it takes a long time to actually warm up someone to feel comfortable to buy from your business. So actually just coming up on the day and saying, hey, I've launched my business, please buy from me, is not good enough anymore, unfortunately. Of course your friends and family are going to buy from you, they'll want to support you, but if you're trying to get a new customer, someone who you've never met, which is the best feeling in the world because it's really validating, it takes time to warm someone up and get them into a place where they're like, oh, I really love this brand, or they look really cool, I want to try it, I'm going to buy from them. So because you would have done your research in the initial stages, you should have a good idea of what is making customers gravitate to certain brands. So you can kind of cherry pick all of the good things that are happening with other brands, make it your own, and implement that into your marketing strategy. And by this I mean, for example, maybe a brand does really exciting games on their stories on Instagram, or on their TikTok they have a very particular style. You can start thinking about, well, what do I want my style to be? And it kind of by observing all of these other brands that you did in your research phase, it'll help you kind of get an idea of what you like and how you can like have something that will resonate with your audience as well, because you've already you've seen the proof that it's working for other people. Does that make sense? In your marketing plan, I would say you should have your plan ready for the month before your launch. So literally a month before you plan to launch, you start posting on Instagram or start posting on TikTok. That's kind of the main time you should start building up this hype and making people feel like, oh, what's coming out? Like, I'm so excited, I can't wait to see. It's where you start teasing the product and, like I said, building up that excitement in people to want to see okay, what is this brand launching? I can't wait to, buy from them. I can't wait to see what they've got. And it really comes down to understanding your USP, understanding what people are looking for in terms of within your niche, so you can start posting about those certain things. Now, one thing I want to mention about your marketing plan, it should feel genuine to you. I see a lot of people that feel like this resistance to putting themselves out there, and it's sometimes because it feels inauthentic to them. And the fun in having a brand is to make it exactly what you want it to be, so make it as you as possible, and then it should feel aligned, and it'll feel like it's not a chore. It's kind of like something that is in your zone of genius, let's say. By starting to build up the hype like a month before you launch, I promise you it will be a world of a difference than just turning up on the day and saying, hey, I've launched my business. So I would highly recommend just, making sure that you have an action plan of everything you want to do in the run up to your launch. The fifth step and the final step, I would say, is to keep iterating. So when you launch your business, what you'll soon realize is that's really just the start of the whole thing, because I feel like sometimes you build it up in yourself, like, oh my God, this launch is happening, and you feel like, you're working up towards something and that's going to be the end of it. But actually, it's just the start of your business, and you're going to learn a lot of things through it. I personally did, and I kept working and iterating, and then you're kind of able to get your own personal formula of what your audience likes, what they don't like, and then you can just keep working and doing what works versus what doesn't work. By putting everything out there and finally launching, you get to understand your customers on a much deeper level. You can start looking at your analytics, seeing which pages they're viewing more than others, and then you can start promoting the product that is doing the best versus the product that is not doing as well. You can just kind of do lots of testing based on your analytics and just keep iterating. You can add apps onto your, say for example on Shopify, you can add an app to see how people are interacting with your website. You can see them live, what they're clicking on, what they're struggling with, and you just keep iterating. I feel like the iteration never stops. There's always something that you can you'll learn, you can do better. And it's just the launch is just the start. So don't put yourself down and thinking even if you make no sales on the first day, that's okay. You just now then think, okay, well, how am I going to make those sales? What is it that I need to try? And you just keep trying and trying and trying until something clicks, and then you can keep replicating whatever is working. So guys, those were my steps for starting your business in 2022. I hope it kind of all made sense and it wasn't too wordy. I'm just getting back into the swing of things in terms of filming, and I'm really looking forward to this year because my YouTube channel is now a big focus. In the last year, I was just learning so much within my own brand that I was struggling to be able to keep up with both. But I'm really excited to be working and making my goal to be more consistent on YouTube. If you have any specific videos you'd like me to film and explain, please go ahead and drop a comment down below. I would really appreciate it. I want to make videos that you want to see. So until next time, bye.